There are two absolute values. At first, it may seem a bit intimidating, but this is a lot easier than it looks. I'm going to go over absolute value very quickly. For an absolute value of a number, we want to know how far we're away from 0, how many units we're away from 0. It does not matter whether you are away in the positive or in the negative. So the absolute value of -3 is +3 because we're 3 units away from 0. Same with the absolute value of +3. When we have the absolute value of a negative number, like -3, in order to drop the absolute value, we need to take the negative of what's inside the absolute value, and the two negatives will cancel out and it gives us +3. The absolute value of 3, we don't need to do anything. We can just drop the absolute value. Let's look at the problem. Since we have two absolute values, we don't know whether the expression inside is going to be positive or negative on both sides. Is it going to be positive or negative? Since we have two options on the left and two options on the right, that gives us a total of 4 equations that we would need to solve. But we don't have to solve all of them. I'm going to write the different equations out, and we're going to eliminate the ones that we don't need to solve. For clarity, I'm going to change this expression into the variable a. I'm going to change this expression into the variable b. So we have the absolute value of a is equal to the absolute value of b. If a is positive and b is positive, we can drop both of the absolute values and write a is equal to b. That's our first equation. Our second equation is if a is positive and b is negative, we need to write a is equal to -b. Because we're assuming that b is negative, in order to drop the absolute value, we need to take the negative of what's inside the absolute value. Number 3, we're going to assume a is negative. So to drop the absolute value, we need to take the negative of a. And if we assume b is positive, we just go a is equal to b. And the fourth one, we have a is negative, and we assume b is also negative, so we have to take the negative of b. We have 4 equations, but we don't need to solve all of them. As you'll see that some of these can be eliminated. Equation 1 and equation 4 is the same. A negative and a negative will cancel out, and we can change this to a positive. And that means this is the same as equation 1, and we do not need to solve this one. Let's look at equation 2 and equation 3. If we multiply by a negative number on both sides, this becomes positive a and negative b. And equation 3 now is the same as equation 2. We can eliminate the third equation. We're left with 2 equations to solve. For the first equation, we are assuming that the expression inside are both positive. We don't need to do anything. We'll just drop the absolute value signs. We get 3x plus 2 is equal to 2x plus 1. We're going to subtract 2x on both sides. This becomes x plus 2. 2x minus 2x cancel, and we get 1. I'm going to move the 2 to the other side by subtracting 2 on both sides. We get x is equal to -1. I'm going to move this solution here. X is equal to -1. And let's solve the second equation. This time we are assuming that this expression is positive. So we don't need to do anything. We'll just drop the absolute value. 3x plus 2 is equal to. And our b is negative. That means we need to take the negative of what's inside that absolute value. 2x plus 1. I'm going to distribute the negative, so you get negative 2x minus 1. I'm going to add 2x on both sides to get rid of the x on one side. We get 5x plus 2 is equal to, this will cancel, -1. Subtract 2 on both sides, we get 5x is equal to -3. To isolate x, we'll divide by 5. This will cancel. We get x is equal to -3/5. Put the solution here. We have two solutions. Because we're making assumptions what these expressions are, we need to check the solutions. We need to plug the solutions back into the equation to see if they are valid. We have x is equal to -1. Let's plug that in. We get 3 times -1 plus 2, the absolute value of, is equal to the absolute value of 2 times -1 plus 1. Okay. The absolute value is going to make this into a +1, and same here. So these two are equal, and this solution is valid. Let's check the solution. X is equal to -3/5. We're multiplying -3, so it becomes -9/5. I'm changing +2 into 10/5, because 10 divided by 5 is 2. Same here, multiply, and I'm changing 1 to be 5/5 in order to have the same denominator. -9/5 plus 10/5 is going to give us 1/5. -6/5 plus 5/5 is going to give us -1/5. But because we have absolute value signs, these two are equal. And our second solution, x is equal to -3/5, is also valid. And that's it for this video. To those that celebrate Lunar New Year, Happy Lunar New Year, Happy Chinese New Year. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful New Year. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned something new, be sure to like it and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.